All right, Coach Julie back here. Excited to have Brad Leshinske back in the room with me today. Brad, welcome to the room again.
Thanks, Coach. Hope all is well.
Yes, you as well. And y'all, for if you do not know Brad, you need to get to know him. Okay, Brad, he's a professor. He's a strength and conditioning coach. He's a business owner. He is on his way to publications and a public speaker. So, I mean, there's more, but all that to say, guys, right? He's had some experiences. He's been in this a while, and which is why I really enjoy just having these conversations with Brad about our athletes and how for us to become better, more impactful coaches. So, Brad, today we've got a question on the table around our athletes that are not applying themselves. So what we hear a lot is, my athlete's showing up and they're just going through the motions. They're not actually fully vested and invested in our practices and the games. So I would love your insight around how to get athletes who aren't applying themselves more, maybe even just 1% more. What do you got for them today, Brad?
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of it has to do with understanding who your athletes are and having those relationships with them. I think that's always kind of lays the foundation for having difficult conversations. And with those conversations, the coach has to be approachable too. So having good relationships, a good foundation of that, and then being approachable as a coach will fare well for you in asking and pulling the athlete aside maybe and asking them what's going on, right? Because if you're not approachable, they're going to be less apt to tell you. And if you don't have that relationship, they're not going to be pretty open to tell you what's going on. But I think, there's three main factors, right? I think athletes a lot of times are afraid to fail. I think there's so much, maybe it's something from the parents where they're putting this, external pressure on them, their coach, their sport coach, or they don't want to fail you as a strength coach. They don't want to miss something. And I think the best way to grow is failing, right? And putting yourself out there. I think I've learned the most from my failures and being honest with myself and just letting go of that. The trick is, how do we let them go? And understanding that it's okay to fail and having those conversations with them. If you're a baseball kid, you're not going to hit 500 every year, right? You're going to strike out. There is going to be that time where you're going to strike out. If you're going to drop a pass as a football player, you're going to misread something as a basketball player. There's so many different things, but failure will happen. The question is how you respond to that failure. And that's something you can talk to your athletes about is, what are you scared of? What are you nervous about? And then say, it's okay. It's okay if that happens. You don't want it to happen, obviously you don't want it to happen in the biggest moment of their athletic careers, right? That's always tough to see, but sometimes it does happen. But it's the response. How they respond is vitally more important than that actual failure. So I think that's really key. Second one is they're nervous. Right? They're just nervous about it. They're nervous about the moment. They're nervous about being in the weight room, or they're nervous about being new to the sport, maybe nervous about maybe just being part of the high school team. So they just don't know how to act. And then that nerves take over and they get this anxiety, right? And we have to manage as coaches this eustress or positive stress and distress, right? And that really plays a role in that relationship building, but also the recovery and how they're going to perform in sport. So understanding, it's okay to be nervous. Everybody gets nervous. I always tell the story, I get nervous every time I present at the college level here, right? Like I talk every day, right? I lecture every day. I still get a little bit of nerves every time because I want it to be good for them. I want them to learn. I still get nervous when I have to get up in front of the baseball team, football team, whatever, 80 kids, and explain the workout and demonstrate it. I still get those. It's good nerves. And I think talking to athletes about those good nerves, which is a really good thing, versus anxiety is really important. Having true conversations about that. I'm lucky enough to work with some MMA athletes, and they'll tell you the worst part about any MMA fight is the 5 minutes before you walk out there. The self-doubt, the nervousness of they're trying to be this person, right? This fighter, right? Are they really that fighter? You know what I mean? So it's understanding those eustress, distress, and nervous versus anxiety. And then I think the third one really is they're just not having fun.
Mm.
I think the weight room, I think education, I said this in freshman orientation last week, education should be fun, coaching should be fun, sports should be fun. So adding a fun element somewhere along that, whether it's, gamifying something, opening up maybe with a game, whatever it may be, competition could be fun, is having some sort of fun within your program will help them along the way and break down some barriers, especially if their personality style is more introverted or they're just nervous or they're afraid to fail. Having fun can alleviate a lot of that distress, right? And create more eustress and having a little bit less anxiety about the task at hand when we open it up for some fun and some laughs, and I always say the warm up is one of my favorite times because we're warming up, we're activating, we're doing the whole protocol, but it's my time to walk up and down the line of the warm up, say hi to everybody, bust their chops a little bit. Maybe they, did something in a game or something I saw and kind of, have a joke with them about it or, whatever it may be. But that's the time where you kind of break that barrier down. You learn about your athletes and what they've been doing, and then you can have a little fun with them and then we can get to work. So I think those three things really build on each other, but also I think youth coaches specifically can intervene quicker if they understand, why they might not be, doing what they're supposed to do and help them along the way. Some athletes just need some more handholding, which is okay. It's okay. And I think the younger the athlete, I think probably the more scared and nervous they are, as opposed to someone that's been doing it a while. My kiddos just started doing t-ball. My daughter was petrified. It's the first time she's 3. It's the first time she played any sports. She needed a little hand holding. She needed mom to go out there with her mitt and play catch, and that's okay. And obviously the hand holding gets a little different as they age, but it's maybe spend a little more time with them in that rack, right? Explaining the exercise and showing them and taking some time with them, giving alternatives. So it's just about knowing those kids, building that relationship, that foundation, and hopefully intervening a little bit earlier so you can have, less issues with them and why they might not be paying attention or succeeding in some cases.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Brett, I love that. And, I think, in the realm of coaching, whether it's, our youth athletes or, entrepreneurs or any kind of coaching, typically when we see a reservation or a block, right, it's grounded in 3 things, either a mindset, a skill set, or an asset.
Yep.
Right. So, what I hear you really saying is, go deeper, ask them what they are actually contending with in those moments. Is it something saying to them, I can't, or I'm scared, or I'm nervous? Is it, I don't know how, a skill set? Guys, by the way, coaches,
Yep.
You're pros at helping merge those gaps in those areas. Or is it an asset? Do they need a tool? Do they need a strategy to help them overcome their block? Not applying yourself is an indicator, and it's an opportunity to coach. So maybe we can reframe those maybe out there who say that athlete's not applying themselves, right? What if it's, hey, they're not applying themselves, they need some coaching, and you are a pro at coaching. So Brad, thank you so much for sharing that. So excited always to be in the room with you. You bring so much energy, love for these athletes. And I know there's a lot of highly impactful coaches out there that do really resonate with that. So guys, if you enjoyed this, if this is something you want to know more about, or if you just had a breakthrough, right, or a realization, we would love if you would share with us, share in the comments and respond to this so that we know directions that you need more help in or are just getting clarity around. And again, Brad, thank you as always for joining me in this room.
Thank you so much and have a great day.
You as well.